Hello and welcome to Arena EV, where today we'll be reviewing this DS No8. It is a French luxury sedan that combines the practicality of an SUV with the shape of a sedan. It sits on the same platform as the Peugeot 3008 and other Stellantis models, but unlike them, it's not offered in ICE versions and it's also a bit smaller in size. However, it is much pricier than its siblings. That's mainly because of the fact that it's much more luxurious. Its shape is typically French. It's not like anything else on the market. The version we have on display today is the all-wheel drive version, which comes with 350 horsepower. The battery has a usable capacity of 97.2 kilowatt hours, which makes it one of the biggest in its class. Only upcoming models like the BMW i3 or the Mercedes C400, which are not yet on market, can rival such values. DS claims that the number 8 can go almost 700 kilometers on a single charge, according to the WLTP figures. Of course, in the real world, those numbers are not entirely true, but values over 400 kilometers are much more plausible, as you can see in our range test. The model we have on display today is called Jules Verne. This is the highest trim available. It comes with all the options available for the model, and the only thing that you can select as an extra is this black hood, which makes the DS No8 stand out even more. With this two-tone paint job, the DS No8 can be mistaken for something much pricier. When people first see it, they're confused as to what it is. Some mistake it for a Rolls-Royce, some for a Bentley, but it definitely looks much more premium than DS actually is, which is a very nice feature. DS is a relatively new brand and it wants to distinguish itself from Citroën, which it stems from. As you can see, the front looks nothing like a Citroën. This DS logo is unique and is covered behind this windscreen that also illuminates in the dark. Here, underneath the license plate, is the cooling area. It has active aero, and whenever you don't need that much cooling, it closes so that it can maximize range. The regular DS emblem is replaced by a Jules Verne signature on our trim model, which gives it a sort of special occasion and makes the vehicle pop out even more in traffic. The upper two trim levels of the DS No8 come with those amazing matrix headlights. They illuminate the road ahead perfectly, and they are also adaptive towards the conditions of the road. They sector out other vehicles and you can still have your high beams on while not flashing others. On the Jules Verne trim, you are stuck with 21-inch wheels and tires. They look great, we have to admit that, but they also worsen the ride a bit. And let's be honest, you can prioritize comfort in a luxury limousine over looks, so we'll definitely make that trade if we could. The door handles of the DS No8 are a combination of the two worst possible integrations of a door handle in modern vehicles. Up front, you have to press the door handle and it pops out and then you can open the door. Or, as you approach the vehicle, the door handle automatically pops out. In the rear, you have to stick your fingers in this area and pull the door. It works, but it's a bit counterintuitive, and if you come from this direction, you have to make a very weird rotation, and we do not like it. This two-tone paint job is standard for the Jules Verne editions. The black roof ends at the level of the windows, and the normal body color continues downwards. These contrast flying buttresses make it appear as they're floating, and this area reminds us of the Cybertruck, which is a unique look, we have to admit, but one that not many people like. The rear of the DS No8 looks like nothing else on the market. It is futuristic and very distinct, and we love that for it. Previous DS models used to say only DS on them. Now we have DS automobiles printed across the entire back of the car. This makes it very easy for others to distinguish what exactly this vehicle is, as it looks like basically nothing else on the road. The L-shaped tail lights look amazing. They have little diamond-looking elements throughout the entire LED housing, which light up very beautifully at night and give it a very unique light signature, so that you can easily distinguish the DS from other traffic. Actually, this entire lower section lights up when you turn on the blinkers, so that everyone behind you knows that you're turning in either direction. Here, next to the third brake light, is a little camera. It acts as a rear view mirror camera if you don't want to look at the rear view mirror like the good old days. You can open up the tailgate normally by pushing your hand here. Or you can swing your foot down and it opens the tailgate automatically. This is very useful if you have your hands busy. The DS No8 offers 620 liters of usable space, which is a lot more than rivals in this segment, and makes it quite a useful family vehicle. You can see that you have a 12-volt outlet that you can use to power your electronic gadgets. You also get some storage space underneath the main trunk floor. As you open it up, it reveals some storage space. It's not that much, but it's mainly covered by this big subwoofer, which doesn't come standard in the lower trim levels. So if you want more space, go for the lower trim levels and don't opt out for the good music. But this is a decision we don't suggest you make. Sadly, there is no quick way of folding the rear seats from the back, so you have to go on each side individually, open the door and fold down the seats manually, which is a bit tiring, and you're also left with an uneven floor, so you cannot load huge items that easily as you would with a flat floor. And speaking of the rear seats, we're not that impressed by them. As you can see, entering is a bit compromised because of the sloping roof line, and I don't have that much space for my legs. I have the front seat positioned where I would usually sit in, and I have some space left, but it's not much. I have to disclose, I'm a tall adult, 1.95 meters tall, so usually this will not be that much of a problem, but in other such luxury limousines there's no such problem, so this is a bit of a letdown. After all, the French Prime Minister is being driven in one of those vehicles, so we would expect that it would have a bit more space in the back. There is also not much space for my head, as it touches the roof, which is once again not common in other luxury vehicles, so you might have to take this into account if you plan on being driven in one of those DS No8s. Anyways, the rear seats offer some nice creature comforts, like those cup holders and little space for a tablet or a phone. And also you get heated and cooled rear seats, which is not that common to be seen, especially in this class. And as well, you get a third climate control zone, which is once again very nice for the luxury of the rear occupants, as long as they're not that tall. We can see DS taking notes from BMW's playbook, and you have to press this handle 2 times and the hood automatically opens to reveal you don't have a frunk. Sadly, this vehicle is based on an ICE platform, so you have to bear with the fact that you don't get a frunk. Interestingly, DS claims this vehicle will only be sold as an EV, but given what platform it's based on, we will not be surprised if an ICE version or a hybrid one, as you open eventually joins the market. You're welcomed by a very cozy and different looking interior. The exact model we have is covered in blue accents and leather all around the interior, but of course you can opt for more subtle colors if blue is not your forte. In typical French automotive fashion, the steering wheel is weird, to say the least. You have 4 spokes, but they're not where you suppose they're positioned. At the level where you would normally position your hands, you don't have anything. And the spokes are up here, which makes the position for driving very weird. Or down low, which might be useful on longer journeys, but when having to make a sharper turn, you have to move your hands once again. The buttons on the steering wheel are nice. They look as though they're made out of crystals, although they're plastic. As you can see, those paddle shifters behind the steering wheel don't control the regular gearbox, as the car doesn't have one. Instead, they control the recuperation settings, and if they're not enough for you, you can press this button down here at the gear lever selector, and this turns on or off the one pedal driving feature, which is tremendously useful when daily driving the vehicle, as you don't have to press the brake pedal almost never. Here behind the steering wheel you see a giant black square. This is a sensor that tracks your eyes, and whenever you get fatigued or you don't look at the road, the car signals you to pay attention. The gauge cluster screen is highly practical. It sits right in your line of vision, and because of the weird spokes, it is not obstructed by anything, and unlike other Peugeot and Citroën models, you can actually see it because the steering wheel is not that small. There are multiple layouts for the gauge cluster, and if you have your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay connected and leading you towards a direction, you can have your directions displayed right in the screen in front of you, which is one of the most important features in modern vehicles. If that screen is not enough for you, DS is giving you a head-up display as well. It projects quite a lot of information and basically renders the gauge screen display unit useless. It says all of the important features and can even display a map in front of you, guiding you towards your destination if you have your map set here in the normal navigation display. But sadly, this does not work with the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. The gauge cluster is controlled by those 2 buttons, and you can also use this one to reset your trip odometer. And for the first time ever, we see a button which controls not only the side view mirrors, but also the head-up display, which is a physical button, unlike basically any other vehicle, which has the control for the head-up display buried in some menu inside the infotainment system. The center display is very wide, and as a driver I can hardly reach the end points. Sadly, it is very short, so all of the information has to be crammed in this very wide and short display, which is suboptimal, but eventually you get used to it. One thing we like is that the right part of the screen is almost set out for the passenger and not for the driver to be used. It has shortcuts for frequently used features and can be used to control the massaging functions, the AC controls, and stuff like that. As for the infotainment itself, it is shared with a lot of other Stellantis models, and in all of them it works great. It isn't something extraordinary or special, but it is very nice and we like using it. It is very user-friendly and offers quite a lot of practicalities, but it is also simplified so that it doesn't burden you while using it. The home screen display offers a lot of shortcuts for the most important features. One feature we absolutely adore is the neck warmer, and can be used in combination with the seat heating and the steering wheel heating so that you never feel cold. It is an amazing feature that used to be available only on high-end convertibles like the Mercedes SL or the BMW 4 Series, but now it makes its way into a sedan that doesn't have its roof opening, but it is once again very nice that it's here. Talking about the seats, they're amazing. They're comfortable, but they also hug you tightly with those nice big bolsters. They offer great massaging features, which are not that common in the compact to mid-size sedan segment, so we're very well pleased with welcoming them here. The Jules Verne edition we have offers seat ventilation, that's why the leather is perforated, which allows you to stay cool in the hot summer days. And given how dark this interior is, and with the sunroof that lets all the sunlight in, that is a very welcome feature. The center console is a bit of a letdown. It spans all the way from the center screen to the end of the armrest, but it doesn't offer that much practicality. It looks great with those elements engraved into it, but it doesn't feel nice as it is very, as some might say, plastic fantastic. Here is a wireless charging tray for your cell phone, but it is very shallow, which means that on tighter corners your phone might fly out. And the buttons here look very nice, we have to admit that, but they feel very plasticky and cheap to use. There is also a nice cup holder placed here, and it's very intuitive to use. But it makes it a bit harder to use the gear lever when you have a drink here, so you have to take this into account. The armrest offers generous amount of storage space. If that's not enough for you, you can always use this part of the center console, which is underneath the main one, to use it up even more. As you slide this piece, you reveal two more cup holders and two more trays where you can store items or phones or whatever you actually like. And you also get two USB-C outlets to charge your devices or to use them for wired CarPlay. To be honest, this console doesn't feel that premium. And given how pricey this vehicle is, we would expect this to be made out of much better materials. The panoramic sunroof doesn't open or close. It is a feature many modern vehicles incorporate, but we don't really understand its hype. The door seals are one of the center points of the entire interior. They're made out of beautiful materials everywhere except for the lowest part, which you rarely use. But this upper piece, especially the metal parts, feel amazing to touch and give it a much more premium sensation than other rivals. Focal is the manufacturer of the audio system, and logos of the company are embroidered everywhere around the interior. We have to commend DS for using such premium audio and incorporating it in such a wonderful way. The DS No8 is actually one of the better sounding vehicles we've ever tested, and if you enjoy great audio quality, look no further than the DS No8 and the Electra 3D by Focal. So, how does the DS No8 drive? Well, it's great. It's fast, it's quiet, it's luxurious enough, but not tremendously so. It's nowhere near the original DS from the 50s. It's not that floaty sensation that people used to connect with DS and Citroën and French cars in general, but it's fine. On smaller bumps and obstacles, the DS feels unbalanced. The right cannot manage to absorb the heavy weight that bounces all the way, and the 21-inch tires simply don't help the cause either. I suppose that by having smaller tires and the shorter range battery, which is also lighter, will likely affect the ride quality significantly. But as it is, the DS No8 is a perfectly rounded, not only daily driver, but a vehicle that you can use on longer journeys and reach your destination comfortably and feeling relaxed while not having any trouble on the way there. But the most impressive part is that you can have truly long journeys in the DS No8 with the long-range battery, and if you have the all-wheel drive option, as this one does, you can feel confident that you can go anywhere. The ride height is taller than most rivals, so worse roads are not a problem. And also you can use it in the summer to go on the beach, or in the winter to conquer snowy mountains and feel confident all the way. The car feels solid and planted and gives you enough feedback that you're always sure what's going on underneath the tires, and it's a pleasant driving experience. As for the driving assistant that constantly beep at me at the moment, we're passing through a small city where there are lots of signs, and it cannot distinguish, the car that is, it cannot distinguish which signs are for me, which ones are for the next street, and which ones are for trucks, which ones are for special conditions. So it senses everything and splashes this information on the driver, which is quite annoying. It's not calibrated well, but otherwise you can turn them off quite easily, as I showed you, and enjoy a very long range on a pleasant drive. The one pedal driving experience is wonderful. It leaves absolutely no room for complaint. Only at very low speeds, on parking speeds, you might have to turn it off, as it constantly stops, and if you have a little room to play with, it's better to not have it at all than have it and potentially hit an obstacle. As you can probably see, we're not driving on the best road possible, but it's what we usually have here in Bulgaria and in multiple other countries around the world. So these are normal driving conditions, and based on the bounces you see of me, you can get an idea how the ride quality is. Stellantis has created a very compelling and easy to use product in the face of the DS No8, and we like it. As for what it is, it's great. But there is one big, actually huge caveat, and that's the price. We have to talk about the price because it's a lot. For the model we are currently testing, the price is 81,000 euro. That's a lot. That's more expensive than its German rivals, like the C400 and the BMW i3. Choosing the DS instead of the German competitors is a bold choice. If you look at the German competition, it offers more power, similar range, and much better recognition of the brand. So you have to really be into this car to pick it before its rivals. That doesn't necessarily make the DS No8 bad. No, it's not bad at all. It's just overpriced. It's quite expensive, and judging by the rest of the DS lineup, it will depreciate much quicker than its competitors. Now we have the battery on a very low charge. We'll go to the nearest fast charger and see what are the charging figures and if the manufacturer stated numbers are correct. We open up the giant door and then we prepare for fast DC charging. It should be all right. And now we'll wait. Let's hop inside and see what the values are. So let's go out and see what the charging station says about the consumption. As you can see, it charges with 88 kilowatts. So to quickly summarize it, the DS number 8 is number great. It leaves almost no desire for improvement in any of the categories, but it doesn't really stand out in multiple of them. It's unique, it's different, it's recognizable in traffic, and it provides a lot of creature comforts for the segment, which multiple rivals don't even have as an option. The range on a single charge is one of the best. If that's what you're looking for, great. The charging is not that impressive, to be honest. Multiple vehicles perform better, especially with the 800-volt technology that's catching up so quickly now. Anyways, the DS is easy to use. That's very important for a luxury sedan, and it's bigger than most of its rivals. Offers a lot of storage space. It's useful, easy, practical. If you go for it, you'll certainly not regret it. But on the other hand, you'll always think of, what if I took the German? DS has been and will likely always be a niche product. It's not a model we expect to see a lot on the road. But it's a great model, and if you're lucky enough to get one, go and do so. We recommend it. You'll be different. We hope you enjoyed our video. Subscribe and stay tuned for more.